Again, Sonic characters can survive falls in infinite height.
I hate Eggman. Where's this? That light! I think it's trying to show me something.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Sonic Adventure. In the last part we wrapped up our business on the egg carrier and now we're in the jungle area of the Mystic Ruins. If you remember seeing a minecart in the distance over near where we fought Knuckles, that leads here. This place is a giant natural labyrinth. Thankfully there's a map button in the pause menu, albeit I don't think every version marks where you are on the map. You just have to figure out where you are depending on shapes of things and all that. But our main goal is right in front of us. Welcome to the Lost World. I'm gonna try my best to hold off on any Jurassic Park jokes I got, albeit that movie isn't as good as the first one, but as someone who came to all those movies relatively late, I think they're alright. In general, like, even Jurassic Park 3 is a little just like, yeah, no, it was fine. Jurassic World 1 was okay. None of the sequels were. So what makes the Lost World pretty tricky is that it has a lot of moments that are just very suddenly dangerous, as opposed to gently climbing throughout the stage like a lot of the other stages do. For instance, that room back there with the fire pillars, they jut out so quickly you need to just kind of take your time through it or really know where they're going to be, because otherwise you're probably going to get just surprised and blindsided and just take a hit. But I think the worst part of the stage is actually right here. We have this giant cylindrical room with switches. There are 2 types of switches. 3 of them, which is type 1, raise the water level. Another will light up a light above the door, which you need to hit those in order to actually leave this room. But in order to reach the higher platforms, you either need to do absurdly dangerous and precise spin dash jumps, or use this really clunky feeling stone snake that's constantly looping around the center of the arena to get from place to place while also jumping up the platforms around the area. Notably, the loop the snake takes isn't a perfect circle. It has a smaller and a wider circle it alternates between, so there's times you'll just have to sit on it for a good while, and as you'll see, the stone sections of it shift in such a way that you kind of judder back and forth. I've had playthroughs, especially in the DX version, where you'll just completely clip through the snake during one of those, and it feels rough. There's a couple moments something like that can happen in DX to begin with. One of the most famous ones actually in DX is a turn in Emerald Coast for Sonic, the very first level in the game. If you hug towards, I think it's the left side of the stage, which you already kind of gravitate towards in that jump to begin with, you just clip through the platform, and it's rough. Sonic Adventure DX is the version of this game you're going to find on basically everything nowadays, yes, but there is some stuff about it that's just gotten worse and worse. Oh, there's some of what I was talking about as time's gone. I love this screen right here. I don't know why. It's just always felt nice to run through. It's always reminded me of a part of Ep.6 3 in retrospect as well. So this section. This entire room is pretty much completely dark. There are some fire arrows being thrown as well as some fire orbinauts you can use to see, but the main thing you need to do is use these mirrors and reflect the light into a nearby mirror in order to illuminate the nearby area. You don't need to do that. You can just go forward into the darkness and jump on the platforms, but on a first run, you're not going to know where those are, so it's not really worth it. Even then, on repeat playthroughs, I tend to do it just out of safety, just in case I misjudge a jump. Also, a scary thing coming up right here. I'm doing a lightspeed dash with the electric shield, which means I'm absorbing the rings as I go, causing it to be kind of jittery. In some cases in games that'll let you do that, that could technically kill you, depending on what kind of bottomless pit you're over. Because just to mention, yeah, there are power-ups in this game. They're the usual stuff. Ring boxes. I think there's at least one Eggman monitor somewhere. Got the standard shield that just protects you from him, but there's also the electric shield that draws in rings. It is the only one of the Sonic 3 elemental shields that really returned in the series. Until Generations, where the other two sort of came back, and then I think they're just outright back in Mania, from my memory. So right here, we're being chased by Boulder Indiana Jones style. Don't spam spin dash here. Because the boulder here has rubber band AI, so if you go too fast, it'll accelerate at such a rate that you're guaranteed to get hit by it. If you just run down all the same way without spin dashing, you're completely safe there. I have died there more times than I'd like to admit because I stupidly forgot about that. But now for probably the weirdest thing about this level. In this room, we got switches we can press that move these panels. Every couple of presses, the panels will line up in such a way that they connect and darken. At that point, they have anti-gravity properties, and you can walk on the walls. I always mess around in this room a little too much because I forget where my actual end goal is and which path is technically the fastest. It's always just kind of messes with my head. From my memory, you can play this room a specific way where if you stand in a certain place to start, you can do like 2 or 3 specific spin dash jumps and make it to the end of this room really quickly. But I've maybe done that once and I just never remember the order of operations there. Mostly because Sonic Adventure is one of those games I have played in such a way several times where I've just not finished a lot of playthroughs. I'm like, alright, I'm gonna do like these few stages, maybe then play these couple of characters, campaigns really quickly if they're shorter ones, and that's about it. If I'm not doing that, I'm probably just loading up an old save file and going into levels I've already beaten and playing it that way because I just want to play the specific level in a certain way, which is how I play a lot of these types of platformers to begin with, honestly. If they have some form of like level access from a separate secondary menu. That's how I play a lot of Sonic games, actually, in specific. That's how I play Mania, that's how I play Generations whenever I go back to that, that's how I play Unleashed, usually. And when I was going for the Platinum Trophy, at least, that's sort of how I played Forces. Albeit, Forces already was kind of a stage menu to begin with, rather than a proper overworld, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Also, I distinctly remember, I already mentioned earlier in this particular playthrough that I had to re-record a lot of Sonic's playthrough for behind-the-scenes reasons. My original run of this level was a lot cleaner when I got to this point, only because I fell down less. But at that point, it's like, I've already played through this entire playthrough twice. I'm not recording that level a third time. No, I'm good. There's times where I will outwardly just restart a recording in case it's going too poorly, but at this point, I was like an hour in at this particular night. I was just like, no, I want to go to bed. I've always found the end of this stage also a little bit weird and jarring. It's one of the several stages in Sonic's playthrough that doesn't end with a capsule, just like Emerald Coast. But with the end of Emerald Coast in another stage that ends like this, you get a second to absorb what's at the end of the level. Here they just jump cut into a cutscene in the victory screen so quickly, it's actually kind of startling on a first playthrough. Just hop, skip, and leap away, charge up a spin dash, lightspeed dash across, go over speed booster across an inverse loop-de-loop, and we're at the end of the stage, and there's the victory screen. I get why they do it like this here, because there is a lot of camera angles focusing on this room in the next cutscene anyway. It's just very startling on a first playthrough.
Yeah, not bad. Whoa, what's this? A mural! What's this place? Where am I? This is really weird.
I mean, only really one thing we can do here, head towards the fire and see if anyone needs some help over there, I guess.
What was that all about? I don't think I'm dreaming here. Eggman! What's he doing here? Oh, never mind. This time I'll get him good!
I guess we're chasing down Eggman again. I guess we're just gonna ignore whatever that was. Sure thing, Sonic. Sure thing. So, at this point, our goal here in the Mystic Ruins jungle area is, if you look at the map, there's now a pathway heading off towards the very north. However, because this is the last opportunity you have to do so, I'm heading back to the town once again to check the dialogue over there, see what's going on with the stories and all that. Just to see what's going on, really. If you're playing along, I would just recommend going to the final stage of Sonic's campaign. But I'm going the other way. Plus, this does allow me to showcase the entrance and exit to the jungle area. It's the minecart, like I mentioned. Ride this one, it'll take you back towards where we fought Knuckles in Chaos 4. Ride that back, and it takes you right back there. Now, there's no reason to do this as Sonic. So I'll more directly showcase it down the line. But in the case you want to, you can head back to the Egg Carrier hub world by going over towards where the train is here in Mystic Ruins, but then heading into that door directly in front of me that has the boat sign over it. You climb down that ladder, there's a raft that'll take you over to the now crashed Egg Carrier. It's in the middle of the ocean, somewhere that general direction. I think the most you could do there at this specific point is I think there's an emblem I don't grab during the LP there. Namely, I think it's on top of the giant spinning circular disc over near where the bridge is. I don't know what state you need to have the Egg Carrier in off the top of my head for that, but yeah, it's there. Now, I haven't talked too much about the game's visual stylings throughout the playthrough so far. A lot of it hasn't aged great. There's a lot of textures that just look a little rough, especially in DX and all that. I've largely just talked about the things that DX did to them and what mods I'm using to slightly restore it to the Dreamcast. I love how Station Square looks. There's something about it that's just so cozy to me, but especially when it's at sunset like this and a couple of other times throughout the playthroughs. It's so weirdly warm feeling that I just adore it. Not to stab another game too hard right now, but it's I think the kind of sad thing is this has the excuse of looking dated because it's from 1998. Sonic 2006's hub worlds look worse than this art direction-wise, and it's so bland. But they recover for that for Sonic Unleashed. Sonic Unleashed's hub worlds look great to this day, even. Mind you, it's like that game was really ambitious visually at the time and didn't run properly technically on the HD consoles until the Xbox Series back-compat initiative stuff. Missiles just appear out of nowhere and... Missiles? Where? Find out next campaign. This is my wonderful daughter. She keeps me young and optimistic no matter how old I get. Dad's home. Dad's back. This is great. Well, that arc finally concluded. Oh, great. Look away for 2 seconds, and somehow the outer shutter breaks. I don't know how I did it, but they won't get away with it. Seems like there's some events going on across town that we can't quite explain yet, but maybe we'll find out about that in later playthroughs. Call it a hunch. I actually like how the game does that, where they'll hint towards other plotline events, even with just basic NPC dialogue. Usually it's pretty brief stuff, but I appreciate the effort all the same. Makes it feel like it's a connected world, technically. Oh, well, I just can't do it. I can't even talk in front of him. I'll never get to know him at this rate. Oh, but like, how am I talking to you from over here? Damn. That's about everything I wanted to show off here at Station Square, though. So let's head back to the jungle area. I'm actually going to use the Lost World as a landmark for you to reach to figure out where you're supposed to go next. Although I spin dash up, you can kind of tell where we're going next. Our goal is the mysterious tower in the distance, as well as its tunnel to lead into it. Which I always remember there being a cutscene that actively activates when you get too close to it, but I'm thinking of other playthroughs where that actually happens. And now this room here has this song that I absolutely adore, but it also has some little cameos for us. Hey there, Mecha Sonic from Sonic 3. You're looking a little weird, but I like this design for you. Over here we got good old Metal. But also, and I believe I'll have to go record footage of this. I think this specific pod has another Metal Sonic variant in the DX release, but the Dreamcast conversion mods turned that off, I believe. Over here, though, we got 6 buttons. and we need to have all 6 lit in order to actively access Sonic's final level. It's the usual puzzle thing where when you step on a button, it'll activate that button as well as the ones directly next to it. There are several solutions to get through this pretty quickly. That probably wasn't the fastest solution, but oh well. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 7 we tackle Sonic's final stage. See you guys then.